Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University. Today is looking nice and bright and colorful, Tarrant.
Indeed.
With Rainforest.
Rainforest.
This game is by Funnyfox Funnyfox, and it plays 2 to 4 players. And this is a tile placement, tile drafting game.
Yes.
And double drafting, I should say.
Indeed.
So we're going to get through the overview first and then the review.
Yes, so on your turn in this game, so it's all about building up a rainforest of many colours. On your turn, you take one tile from the top of one of these 5 stacks, and then you take some species tokens from beneath. And you are allowed to take all the tiles of one colour, or all the tiles of one species. So kind of Azul's Queen Garden type of draft sort of thing going on. So let's say I took this tile here, I could take maybe these 2 frogs, or these 2 monkeys, or something like that. Up at the far end, there's fewer tiles than there are at the left. And to compensate for when you take the last tile, because usually that's going to be a weaker sort of action, let's say this for the last one here. If I took this and I took this one, I could then exchange any one of my species tiles, whether it's this one or one I got previously, with any other tile that's on the board, like so. Okay. What is all of this in aid of? You're trying to build up your own rainforest. So you'll have your own personal space here. When you draw a tile that goes below your board, you're still working on that tile. And it will have a certain number of spaces that need to be filled with species tiles. And these ones would require yellow, for example. This one would need to be a parrot of any color. And sometimes there's no restriction at all. This one would need no restriction.
Usually low points, but this one is yellow and green tile as well at the same time.
Yes, so you do have some tiles that are multiple colors. So you would get them in, you would have all of the tiles that you took off the board, whatever they were. You then move these tiles, or these tokens, down onto these tiles.
If you like.
If you'd like, you can carry over as many as 2 tiles to subsequent turns. And if you fill one up, then you have to move it up to the top of your board where it forms part of your jungle.
And they'll be from left and right, bottom to top.
Yes, so this will be the sequence that you put them in. So where your points come from, you'll be getting points for fulfilling these tiles. And that's another part of the balance. An equivalent tile from the right-hand side of the board, where there are a few species on offer, will be worth more points than one from the left. So you'll be getting points from that. You'll be getting points for any of your totem animal that you place. So every player has
different ones.
Pardon me. Every player will have their own totem animal, like so. So if I put this here, this would be a 2-point tile. And then you get points by matching up the colors. So if I bring back the main board, a random number of these tiles will be placed at the start of the game, and it's a race to fulfill a cluster of that many tiles in your display. So here, for example, 3 green. So if I wanted to fulfill that, let's say I had taken a couple of greens and had them below my board, I would be trying to get that into a display.
Orthogonally adjacent.
Yeah, so I would have to put this tile third. Let's pretend I filled it up.
Yes.
If I put this tile next, it actually doesn't join up. So I would either want to put
something else
in first before I got there. If I did that, I would place this tile on actually any one in that block, and it would double the points for that tile, including my totem animal points. So I'm going to end up with a parrot on there. Oh, I need a parrot and a frog. Parrot and frog, so this would be a 4-point tile, so I would score 8 points for that. The last way you can score points in the game is by getting what's called the diversity bonus. So I don't have it yet, I need a purple. So at this point I've got tiles of every colour
connected.
So I pop this here, Every subsequent tile I place is going to be worth 2 points. The game will end once someone has
9 tiles.
9 tiles in a 3x3 grid. Everyone will have the same number of turns, and whoever collects the most points wins.
What do you think?
It's a neat little game. I think it is... What's nice about it is that it has a few different sorts of ways of scoring, ways you haven't seen before. So it forces you to think a little bit differently about what you're doing, making sure that not only do you have to fulfill the right sorts of tiles, but then fulfill them in a certain order. And because you can only carry over 2 of these species tiles per turn, it means that if you're trying to grab all the species tiles you need, you have to make them work for the next tile you want to place.
You can only have 3 tiles in work. You can't have more than 3.
Yeah, you can only have three tiles in readiness under here as well. So it forces you to think for the short term and the short to medium term, which is a nice feature. And we mentioned Azul Queen's Garden before. There's a lot of Azul about those sorts of things you need to think through.
For me, look at this colorful rainforest. They are gorgeous. The colors are gorgeous, the animals and tiles. This is screen printed animals. All right, that's how it looks. It's just like, oh, this game looks like nice and colorful and bright. And the game itself is, okay, I like drafting. And this is the mechanic I like. And this is double drafting. As you say, yeah, you choose the animal and the tiles. Like, you really need that tile, but then you don't really want the animals. Like, would you sacrifice for that? And I do like the options when you take the last one and then you can swap to whatever you want type of thing. That is handy as well. I think this is nothing really new here, but it's just still a really nice drafting game that plays pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think if there are a couple of... One of the things I did find was that these tiles here, because they only come out on certain colours, they force certain strategies and they force certain races. At 2 players, it does kind of allow people to go and do their own thing, and so these prove not to be that competitive.
But
you end up with
right.
7 of them at 4 players, so it does drive a little bit more of that competitiveness.
A little bit more interesting, I guess. But then less control for you when drafting. So which one do you like better?
Yeah, I think overall, I don't think it's a classic game by any stretch, but it's neatly put together. It's got a different way of thinking with the scoring, and it's got a nice draft.
Feels a bit like Cascadia, but a little bit simpler because there's no other that card that you have at the end of the game goal.
The scoring objectives.
The scoring objectives, yeah. So it's just a little bit like that. And the different thing is the way you manage when you want to put the tiles up, at what point you want to keep the tiles, which tile you want to keep, which one you want to take, which animals you want to take, and so on.
Yeah, that's the cleverest thing, I think. The way it forces the order that you put them down, but you're still trying to make patterns.
Actually, yes.
You don't see that very often.
Yeah, there is something new, so that's something new.
Yeah, I think that's what's clever. I'd like to see that.
I'd
like to see that more often, just because it forces you to think differently. San Francisco's got a little bit of that, actually.
Yeah.
Not quite the same, but it's got a little bit.
Yeah. So I would recommend it. It is language independent, and it plays up to 4 players, which is to 4. So bring it up, explain it. It's pretty easy to get into the table, easy setup. Yeah, recommend it.
Indeed.
And that is Rainforest. It makes me feel like I want to go to Rainforest now, like looking at these beautiful colors.
Yeah.
Let me know if you have played anything like this, or maybe you have played this. I picked this up at Essen 2022. And hopefully you enjoy that. If you do, or somehow if it's helpful, you can please hit the like button. Please, that'll be really helpful to us. Subscribe to us if you haven't already done that, and click the bell so you get notification of our new videos. We do reviews like this. I've got my short and sweet, we've got how to play and live playthroughs on the weekend. I'm also on Instagram, find me there, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.